Pull up and load the wagon. Get good and get mad. Tell me who we drafted. Wheels up and what's happening. Pull up and load the shout out. Y'all already know what we about. Filling up a team that is usually not allowed. Ain't even a reason to scout. Ain't even a take you can tout. Ain't even a lineup to doubts. And in the season we out. Cheer. Straight up. Game without no players. This ain't for the haters. So but by now see you later. I cater to the guessing what they into. I'm finna load the wagon, partner, what about you? It's the wagon. Get good and get better. Tell me who we draft.
Look at that, Dolphins. Hey, how did we feel to experience that?
Man, we finally, it's been a while, but we got this.
Oh, congratulations.
I feel like this is almost like some sort of therapy thing, like watching them go to the Super Bowl and lose so much when I was a kid, and now we're seeing them win here. It feels great.
All right, everybody, and welcome back here to another episode of Load the Wagon. It's the Madden franchise draft show. Guests come on, draft the team, and then we simulate the year to see how that team goes. And tonight, we are joined by Kraig Rueth. And of course, you can find him over at RotoHeat Fantasy. He has a great show called The Player Normal Activity, which is probably why he's the creative director over there. Go on, check their YouTube out there. You know, I'll also love it because you can always get that IDP info from YouTube. And of course, being an avid Jurassic Park fan, you've got to keep it somewhat of a theme here going on. So, Kraig, thank you for joining the show.
Hey, thanks for having me on. I loved Madden pretty much from when I started getting video games, which is for me around junior year of high school. Madden was the second one I ever got and played it until pretty much I had kids, which maybe my son will get into it. But love seeing the show and takes me back to the fun days of having these simulated drafts.
Thank you, man. And as I told you, we were talking backstage about my tech issues. See, it just happened. But we have it here. The Dallas Cowboys move over Mike McCarthy and
thankfully.
And Jerry Jones. But to fill this idle time, since we have something here, I have what are your thoughts here? Can you just hold this idle time going on as my computer is lagging? Can you just tell me some thoughts on the Cowboys then? So have you always been a Cowboys fan?
So born and raised, still living in Wisconsin, not exactly Cowboys country. I'm a pariah for not being a Packers fan. Don't really know why. Pretty much when I started really getting into football, age 6 or so, that's really when the Cowboys started being the hot, cool new team there in the NFL, the up and comers.
What year was that?
That was probably in the early 90s. So I would,
So
it would
who
have
was
been
the-
in 92.
what was
I
the
would have
team?
been 6.
What was the team like?
That's Aikman, Smith, Michael Irvin, Dion was there for the last one. Novacek. That great offensive line.
And kind of like you alluded to in our chat, like, you haven't done much yet, but here you are for your own turn for a Super Bowl potential push here in 2022. We'll go ahead and start it up. So the rules that I wanted to cover for you are, we'll go about 25 rounds. That's 11 offense, 11 defense, a couple pieces. The simulation of the draft will kind of fill your needs. Injuries are turned off. You can change positions up, so like a cornerback to a safety, center to right guard. And then if you would like, following the draft, you can have one trade, but it's about 50-50. Some people use it, some don't. So you could make that your plan, like punt on a position. Some people just love their draft and want to ride. But we'll go ahead and kick it off here with the Craig J. Park, shout out to Jurassic Park. Ooh, Cowboys. You actually have the 6th pick in the first round. So don't forget, this is not Dynasty. It's kind of like redraft here. So we are going to go for that immediate push. I will just pull up quarterbacks here for you. And then, of course, we could look at just best player available. There's been no theme, there's no cheat code. The previous season there was a cheat code people exploited, but there's been people who go offense heavy, defense heavy. What are we thinking? Are we sticking with the IDP being you, or we going? What are we doing?
So I'm going to ask your opinion. Is it better to go defensive line or offensive line? Because those are the two routes I was thinking to build from the lines.
That's a great question, man. And before we hop into that, like, some people who've had success, like, go into the NFC Championship they've taken Donald's, like Joey took Donald's first overall pick, 1.01. I think he had a deep run, at least I don't remember. Some people have gone two offensive linemen in the first 4 rounds and have had a push. So maybe linemen right now, because you could maybe get Martin in the second, or even, I know it's not showing Trent Williams at 99, but Trent Williams is 99. He'll be there probably the second, third round for you. While maybe Garrett or Donald won't per se. And that they also offer flexibility. Like you could probably bump them out to outside linebacker if you want to run a specific defensive scheme, So it's kind of up to you here. Really, I don't have an answer for you, but I may just lean edge rusher here, or interior
fine.
rusher, whatever
it was going to be offensive line or defensive line. And I haven't seen a lot of Myles Garrett go, so we'll go with Garrett since he's just one spot ahead of Donald there.
Yeah, everybody's been going for Donald, but Myles Garrett, young 26-year-old, compared to Donald, like what, 30? He probably seems more like a Dallas Cowboy, Garrett, than Donald.
Yeah, probably.
Does that make sense or no?
Well, maybe up until this last offseason with Aaron Donald going after guys with the helmet stuff.
That's definitely not good. Was that frozen there for you?
It was moving.
It
did the draft thing and then went to the next page. But
okay, we'll figure that out, dude. I'm telling you, this tech stuff is the most frustrating thing you could probably ever go through. So you're talking about Myles Garrett. When we look at IDP, I want to kind of ask you about Micah Parsons. Like, is he a cheat code in IDP because of like what he does as a player for the Cowboys?
He can be, depending on how you have your league set up and that eligibility. If he's eligible as a defensive lineman, certainly that you're getting sort of that linebacker type production with the pass rushing stuff. So having the guy that gets you those tackles and the pass rushing plays on a defensive lineman is a cheat code if you have that flexibility.
Right. Okay. Can you tell me, what do you see right now?
I see Myles Garrett leaning back, looking up at the ceiling.
Okay, that's definitely not what you should be seeing. Okay, so when we think about, is there any, so when you look at how the defense is kind of changing in regards to the offense, like, speedy receivers, deep ball throwers, is there something to try to exploit out of the secondary in type of IDP leagues, even feasible to do?
You are seeing a lot more of 3 safeties play at one time, and that is eating some of that linebacker production. The days of having that stud linebacker, like the current ones, you think of like a Shaq Leonard or a Roquan Smith, the guys that are out there, high 90%, getting you all the tackles and some big plays. They're going the way of the dodo. There's just not as many of them anymore, where every team almost used to have one. Right. So there is more flexibility with deeper linebacker plays where you can, if you're not going to get one of those studs, wait till later to get, a level 2 or down production, but then beef up other positions.
Yeah, I like that. Because I think one of the first, did you join that IDP league that I was doing? Right.
Yep, I'm in there.
Yeah, that was fun, man. And how do we fill idle time here? So who would you rather have, Sauce or Patrick Surtain?
The way they've played, probably Sauce.
Really?
He's a rookie, as opposed to that second year. Surtain is sort of more, all business and down to it. But if you're talking from real life NFL, I want the guy that's going to be the ball hawk and also going to get you the tackles. Okay. There's nothing wrong with Surtain. And actually, I thought the Cowboys were going to get him in that draft. I was completely surprised when Parsons fell to them. I thought they were going to get,
you got to go Parsons,
Surtain or Horn.
Surtain.
But yeah, he was a no-brainer when he fell there. He really shouldn't have fallen that far, and we're seeing that in the NFL.
I like that. Is there anybody coming up in this upcoming draft that may not resemble them type of players, but offer some like unique immediacy production similar to how Parsons and Sauce are currently doing, or did for Parsons? Sauce.
I don't dig a whole lot into Devy IDP. My plate is pretty full at the moment, with 5 kids at home and then, work and then doing what I can over at RotoHeat for the waiver wires and that stuff during the season. But the big name coming out is going to be Will Anderson. He's an edge rusher. And he's just something else. He's in that top tier. Like if you talk about generational type talent, he's going to be one of them. And he's actually the only IDP Devy player I've taken in IDP Devy league that I'm in.
And he's going to fall to the Eagles, isn't he?
He's going to be a beast right away.
Would that be unfair for the Eagles if he fell to them?
It's going to be hard to see him coming out of the top 3 picks. Even if you just assume it's going to be like 2 quarterbacks, he's probably the next guy. But if he were to even fall to 5, depending on where that Saints pick ends up, they very well could end up with him. And I would hate that, but I'm used to the Eagles
I would hate that
showing
too.
up the Cowboys here.
Hey man, they've been doing some stuff. Okay, so to fill this idle time as this is going, I had some questions for you, but we're just gonna go ahead and knock some of these out the way in the beginning. Let's see. Okay, if you could ban one food combination, what would it be?
Wow, one food combination. That's a good question. I'm not going the pineapple pizza route.
It seems very popular to me.
I like pineapple pizza, and I'm opinion of if you're going to eat it, put whatever you want on whatever you want.
Right.
So
what would you ban?
Yeah, what would I ban?
Got it.
What is something that I don't eat? I don't run into this problem as an adult anymore because I don't make stuff that I'm going to not want to eat.
Right.
I've never been a big fan of like putting fruit into random things. Like
fruit?
I'm not a big cereal person, but fruit into cereal and fruit into oatmeal. And a lot of times maybe it's because I hated bananas as a kid and was always, bananas is the big thing. And it's breakfast food and all that. So things separate alone, I'm fine with that. But like just throwing fruit into everything just seems weird to me. Even like, it's probably more of an 80s thing, but fruit into Jello, and you just that was a side dish. And
my aunt did that, yeah, for sure. People love that at parties. But thank you for bearing with me here. We finally got it figured out. Shout out to technical issues. We're gonna go with Myles Garrett as your first pick in this, Load the Wagon Madden Franchise Draft series. You're talking about offense and defensive line here. Is the trend going to continue for defensive line going into the second round? So of course you'll have the second round 27th pick. You'll come around with third round 6th pick. So you got a pick coming up relatively quick. Like I said, I told you I wouldn't lie to you. Trent Williams, Zach Martin are there. We do have some nice, solid people down here, Hayward and Miller, because we could move Hayward to defensive tackle, Miller to left end if that's your vibe. What are we thinking? Here's quarterbacks. I'll just show you. Probably going downhill here for sure.
At what point do you think Hurts usually goes?
Within the first 4 rounds, but you could always get like a Kirk Cousins round 8, 9, 10 probably, and they're the same overall. Madden simulation a little bit different than like real life, obviously.
Yeah.
A lot of bit different if we're being honest, but probably punting on quarterback is your move right now, especially when you could get a body later.
Give me Trent Williams.
Yeah, dude. Left tackle. I love what the 49ers were able to do with him when they kind of got him in motion like a tight end.
A guy that big that can move like that is just something else.
He does look like a cowboy too. Yeah, man. Insane. 6'5", like 320, and he's just like moving out there better than like most athletes, NFL athletes. That's probably a stretch.
Well, better than most humans of that size easily.
There we go. We could definitely go with that for sure. Better than B. Okay. Oh, Zach Martin, bring him home. Tyron Smith, bring him home. BDVA, defensive tackle. Von Miller is still there. Pretty interesting.
Oh,
you can move him at left end, him at right outside linebacker. So we can run the Dallas defensive scheme. So if you want to keep that in mind while drafting, or if you want, we could move it to a specific scheme, especially if you want to get Miller to outside linebacker, or if, we could just move Miller to left end. Doesn't matter. Or just don't draft him, because I don't know why I'm forcing him down your throat, but what are we thinking? Hypothetically speaking.
If injuries are gone, give me Tyron Smith.
Really? So 2 left tackles. Would I move him to right tackle?
We're going to move one of them, yep.
Okay. Or to guard. It doesn't matter, Probably not center. Okay, but you said Tyron Smith, right?
Yep.
Any reason why over Zach Martin?
I want to get 2 great end players on my offensive line and then build in.
Okay, that's good.
With the way the board's falling anyway.
Is it because like most good edge rushers are coming out from the outside?
For the most part, yeah. If you look at, most defensive tackles aren't going to be your pressure guys like you have with an Aaron Donald or, back in the day, a Warren Sapp. There just aren't as many of those guys.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious. I need to pay attention to that in a Madden simulation just to kind of see, how that, real life stuff will translate. But I love that because either way, it's awesome to lock down that trenches. So going into the 4th round here, what are we thinking?
Let's see.
Oh, wow. Terrell Gary's out there. Roquan, he could move to middle linebacker. I know. I heard about that. I could go by position if you want. I'm just cycling through here just to see for myself mostly.
Go to guards. See where we're at with guards.
So something to keep in mind here, just so you know, like there's great guards here. Kevin Zeitler, due to his age, just being a normal development trait, he could probably be found in 12th, 13th round, just for the record.
Wait, then.
Just for the record, but you still have 3 open positions on the offensive line. Your best is probably Batonio right now, or maybe, Corey Linsley is hanging around here at 91. So, the big theme around here is you can't teach overall, but, it's your team. However you want to vibe, we vibe with it.
Go to the defensive ends then. I think I saw DeMarcus Lawrence was the...
Yeah, he's still hanging around 90. I think he's just a star, while J.J. Watt might be a superstar. Which in a Madden simulation, when they enter that ability, they get zone, they get an extra ability. So it does. So it does kind of help them, but I don't know how much it would, because especially at 90 overall for DeMarcus Lawrence, like that's still pretty awesome. Right end, Calais Campbell, yeah, you're good. He definitely falls. Or edge rushers, I mean, you could drop Gary down, I guess, if you want, to left end. Josh Allen, but I know you were singing out your own Cowboys. You can't teach 90 overall.
Give me DeMarcus Lawrence. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. What if I told you I'm almost 95% confident he could fall to round 5? But I'm not entirely sure.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things is I tried to do a little bit of research besides watching the shows that you do. How important are wide receivers? Because some of the stuff I was reading said having one good wide receiver can really be helpful, but it seems like on the shows that you've had that really hasn't necessarily been true.
Yeah. It's always pretty cool, but I think as long as you're able to snag guys, that's okay. Like, you probably don't want to roll out with Sammy Watkins as your first receiver. I would argue you could survive with him as your second, but it kind of just comes down to how lucky you get in the simulation. Like, Herms just last episode drafted a great team, in my opinion, and he kind of, I think, barely got into the playoffs, so it kind of just comes down to if you get lucky. So I think you're probably okay with punting receiver for a little bit, for sure. Especially you could get Julio in like round 14, round 15.
We'll go to the overall on here then.
Hopkins, running backs you could for sure wait. A couple of these guys like Hyde, Simmons, Smith, they're going to fall a little bit to the age. So you're doing a 1-year Madden draft, but the computer is doing a dynasty draft. So they're going to take like the AJ Brown, the Terrell, the Garys first, before like a Kendall Fuller, a Lockett are going. But, obviously people up here, like, Hopkins is probably going to go soon, Saquon, but you don't want a running back really. Like Harrison Smith, you could easily get around 8, 9, but Lawrence will go. Like, some prime positions are edge rushers / pass rushers, or run stoppers, I guess, in this game. Cornerbacks are cool, but you can ask tons of questions. I'm always open to answer. I try not to give too much. Like,
go back to the offensive lineman.
But if people want answers, I got them for sure. Batonio might be the best value here, but I guess because center, like, they're just hiking the ball, and like you said, there's not too much pressure coming.
We'll take Batonio then. If you think that there's enough edge rushers that are going to fall, we'll stick with the offensive line.
I mean, edge rushers or the left end? Because I'm pretty sure Rashawn Gary, Max Crosby might go right now.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
They can go.
Yeah, I like this theory. I like to see what's going to happen with this, because you got to protect your quarterback, have a good run game as well. Max Crosby just went the pick before, so okay. I knew it goes relatively quick here. I mean, I think the Raiders, they have 9 total sacks right now, and he has 6 of them.
He's a beast. He's just something else. Even in those PFF all 22 leagues that I'm in, I got him in one of them through auto draft, but he's just a beast in those 2.
Yeah, for sure. So I didn't lie to you. There is Lawrence, and then at outside linebacker, your best value would be probably Josh Allen. because someone like Melvin Ingram will fall, but I mean, I know you were talking about Lawrence. Like I said, he goes around now, so I mean,
Do you think Watt falls with his age being older?
So the thing is, mostly is because of the superstar. He's probably, I don't think he'll make it back to the 6th round, nor will Lawrence either. So,
you know what? We're gonna switch it up. Give me JJ Watt.
yeah, I like that man for the superstar ability for sure. Because when they enter that, it's so annoying when you play a game and these players are in those abilities because like it's pretty much unfair. I watch a lot of Madden YouTubers. There's like a Moss one for wide receivers, and it pretty much just guarantees yourself to catch the ball in double coverage.
Wow.
But you get it like one time or something, but like it pretty much guarantees a jump ball double coverage catch. So it just kind of goes to show, maybe translate that to an edge rusher like swim move pro, they are guaranteed a higher rate to win, blah, blah, blah. But who cares? We're building from the trenches here. You got 3 offensive linemen, 2 defensive linemen, now going for your 6th pick. I know you probably are thinking about edge rushers, so I'll go to right outside linebacker. Harold Landry's hanging around pretty good. Like Shaq Thompson's probably not an edge rusher, but he might be a good scheme fit. As just like that, like kind of run stopper guy. Yeah, you're going downhill there for sure. Yeah, you're sitting pretty here, man, for sure. I mean, what is their scheme? 3-4 hybrid.
They have a 4-3.
Okay,
Dallas does.
So you want a field general. So, I mean, Devondre Campbell's chilling. That's pretty solid. Cornerbacks. Yeah, you lost Terrell, but
we can change that anyway, like you said, right? We can.
If you want to, you just got to let me know. I'll probably forget when it comes to that point. So that's on, I mean, that should be on me, obviously, but.
No, I'll remind you because we'll probably end up.
Okay, thank you. Because I'll forget. It happens every time. And, whatever. But here we are. Here's your team just to see what's going on. Pretty solid so far. I like that, man. Building from the trenches. Talk about it. So this is the overall. Again, if you want, I could go to a specific position. Here's quarterback. Cousins. Tannehill, Winston are hanging around like pretty solid. Nothing crazy.
So Thuney, does he go around here usually?
I haven't paid too much attention to him, so I am unsure how to answer this question, but I would assume maybe, definitely by the 8th round, I would say. You have an early 7th, maybe he hangs around, maybe he doesn't. I am unsure how to answer that.
You know who we're going to do? We're going to do it slightly different, but this is a guy that I loved coming out of college, and I have a whole bunch of IDP leagues. We're going to take Antoine Winfield Jr.
Ooh, I like that, man. I like that a lot, for sure. Let's do it. I mean, he's a nice young guy. Shout out Road the Boat. Shout out to Josh. Thank you for joining. Go Irish. Antoine Winfield Jr., man. And, it's not just a dynasty pick. It's also a nice redraft pick because he's also pretty solid as a young stud over there for the Bucs.
Yeah, he's I mean, it's easy to say he reminded me of his dad, but he did. And, I love those legacy guys, as Jeff Bell calls them, that had their dads in the NFL, that they know what it takes to survive. And
was father a cornerback?
Cornerback, he played safety too. He transitioned later. And
that's a hybrid type thing anyways.
Yep.
So, yeah, no big. Oh, wow, Thuney's still there. Shout out to Winfield. Sorry to bring it back here, but
we're going to take Thuney once he was still there.
This is cool, man. I want to see. I've never seen such a predominant offensive line heavy draft, and I am excited to see what comes about.
It could easily bite me in the butt, but
maybe, dude. But I love it, man, because nothing matters if the what did Steph tweet? Nothing matters if
the offensive line sucks. I mean, that was the core of what built the Dallas Cowboys back in the 90s, and they started doing it, and it was doing all right, at the end of
Tony Pollard
started Dak, but they've just let it fall apart once again. And I mean, they're having a nice year, but man,
hey, what are you gonna do? I know you mentioned that. Wait, what? Why does it have everybody available?
Maybe no one's drafted wide receivers. I don't know.
Like, imagine nobody taking Tyreek Hill or Devontae Adams by the 8th round. That'd be something.
Broke the game.
Yeah, dude. What is going on? I've never seen that. Can we just? I mean, hold on. What? I'm confused, man. I've literally lost for words. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna back out of this and figure what's going on, and I'm gonna ask you another question.
No problem.
Like, imagine that an actual NFL draft. Oh, who would you take if the NFL had a complete redraft? You got to be the actual owner or the decision maker of this draft for the Cowboys. Who would you take? Real life first pick. Let's say, I don't know. You got the first overall pick. You probably take like what, Mahomes or Allen?
Yeah, I mean, Mahomes or Allen probably. Yeah.
Okay, let's just say you had like the 14th pick. Kind of quarterbacks are gone. Who you going with? First pick to restart an NFL team, and all the quarterbacks are gone.
Probably someone like Micah Parsons, just a young stud defensive player that has a lot of versatility. You can play all over the place. You know, if I don't memorize offensive linemen as much as I used to, but you know, if there's a stud left tackle that I'm not thinking of that's super young, I'd probably consider him there too, because again, I do believe that you have to have a great offensive line, but a versatile just playmaker on defense that can go all over the place. It's really hard to find guys like that too. So Parsons would be in the running.
So does Sauce Gardner jump into that conversation or no?
Not
after
for me.
they go?
To me, it'd be too early to take a cornerback. I mean, a lot of the value of those cornerbacks, like if you do have a true stud that you can just, you know, have out on an island on guys, that's great. But a lot of the cornerbacks and what they're able to do is based off of the pressure that you're getting up front,
right?
And, you know, rushing the quarterback to let those cornerbacks make plays. So I wouldn't be considering a cornerback in the first round.
Okay. Let me bring up a real question. So I like that. Micah Parsons, I think I approached you about a question about him too. So that was cool to hear you say that. But let's go in here to a question. This thing is going a little bit crazy with this draft, but it doesn't matter because I have a question for you. At least we have that. Okay, Kraig, what are your top 3 favorite smells?
I do love the smell of fresh cut grass. I love the smell of like a bonfire of just like, you know, burning wood, especially like, you know, on a colder fall day or something like that.
Grass, just bonfire of the whole bonfire. Maybe there's a marshmallow roast and you get a sniff of.
Something like that. And then vanilla. I just love the smell of vanilla.
Like a candle vanilla, but like a vanilla donut from Dunkin' is not really vanilla, you know?
I mean, even like you just open up a thing of vanilla extract when you're
what I was
baking
thinking.
or something, you get that whiff of that. It's one of those crazy things that smells amazing, but then you taste it on its own. It's like, dear Lord, how does this work?
Right, dude. Put that a little bit in your pancake batter before you make
it.
For sure. Okay, that was 3. So fresh cut grass, bonfire, and just vanilla, like vanilla extract. Love that. Okay, let's see. What skill or craft would you like to master?
Playing the piano.
I like that answer, man. That's the one instrument I would like to play for sure, the piano. Is there any reason?
The guitar a lot. I just love, there's so much music that I love to hear just played on the piano. And even just piano riffs in different songs. If I was just be able to pull that and play that, man. I know guitar's the easy go-to. People are like, oh, you can carry a guitar with you and go everywhere. But when someone sits down to a piano and just starts pulling off songs, like if you ever go to a piano bar and they take requests and that stuff, man, that's awesome.
I've watched a couple like videos on like, you know, Facebook or something when you're scrolling. It's like, man, you know, stops at piano and that crowd forms. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I like that piano. Let's see. Okay, I like this one. Right here. What mythological creature would improve the world if it existed?
That's a very interesting one. Mythological creature. There's so many of those to choose from, but actually improving the world.
Ooh, let's hear it.
Different.
Let's hear it.
Man. That improve the world part is just so difficult to throw in there.
Well, let's say like not raise hell, you know, not like destroy it at least. Just like what would be a nice thing? Like, you know how owls killed like rodents, it's nice pest control. You know.
I guess I'm gonna have to say unicorns because one, you could have a whole.
What would they do?
Well,
Let's get into it. Yeah.
The Bible
Why-
does mention unicorns, depending on the translations that you go through. So maybe there is something to that. I guess if we're saying improve the world,
unicorns
like if
bad?
they were widespread and proliferated, to be commonplace, you could have a really nice industry of all the girls and guys that love unicorns.
I like that.
Bringing them to parties, raising them, selling them, all that sort of stuff, fun stuff. So.
I like that, man. Okay, unicorn. Okay, and hopefully this is the last question. I think we're kind of going well here. Sorry for the delay.
No problem.
Here. Would you rather be a cat in a dog's body or be a dog in a cat's body?
If we're talking about like average size cat with average size dog, I'd probably want to be a cat in a dog's body.
Dog? What dog body then? You could pick the body.
Golden retriever, yellow lab, something just like, average size, not huge,
Right.
but also not some little dog you pick up and you put in your purse or something.
Right.
So,
for
the
sure.
cat lifestyle, you could still just do your cat stuff, laying around,
I'd probably lay
sunbathing, you
around
do
in
whatever
the
that. Whereas a
bedroom.
dog, you get that dog attitude in a cat body, you're still the size of a cat. There's a lot of other stuff out there that you're going after. It can whoop your butt pretty easily.
Right.
So,
Did you have DeMarcus Lawrence on your team?
no, I think it was JJ Watt.
Good looks, man. So I am fixing some stuff that is going on here, so that's good to hear. So JJ Watt. So shout out to that. Okay, so let's just go ahead and kick it in here. So for some reason, the whole entire draft crashed, and I just got it back to JJ Watt. Your 6th round pick was who?
Offensive lineman, I believe. Let's see. I would
You
have
have
had two
Batonio.
tackles, Batonio. It would have been Thuney, yeah.
Okay, so yes, Thuney. This is not popping up for you. Okay, dude, this is insane, man. We have a. Are you big around like when there's like a storm going on that it just kind of messes up everything?
That stuff happens all the time here, yeah.
It's the worst.
Got storms rolling in there.
No, that was just a lie.
Storm energy, anyway.
I'm sure eventually there were some dark clouds, but it was just a lie. That's like a nice lie, I like to just say, the storm is affecting it. But hopefully this is coming up here. So 7th round, I think we were kicking it into, right? If I remember correctly. I mean, we could try to speed this up too because of the shout out to technical issues. Winfield, right? You chose. It's gonna pop up for you hopefully soon. But we got Antoine Winfield. We'll draft him now. This is where we left off going into the 8th round pick, right?
I think Winfield.
I'm just so happy you got to have every pick because every draft is different and not every time that would work out. But here we are. Let's go. For a quick reminder, Myles Garrett, Trent Williams, Tyron Smith, Batonio, Thuney, Watt, and Winfield building from the trenches as well as some additional key support roles. What are we going with the 8th pick for your right now team?
Scroll down just a little bit here.
Yeah. And sometimes it doesn't have necessarily every player, as you maybe have noticed, but I don't know why, but best value maybe is like a Harrison Smith, Poyer, but
I do like the idea of having 2 good safeties, and I do really like Jordan Poyer.
It's not. I heard that. I'll figure that out. So just so you know, receiver wise, Hunter Renfrow and Odell Robert Woods lead it. It's catching up eventually. We'll let that just naturally go at this point. We're just letting this be in the Madden God's hands on how this draft works. But I heard you saying Poyer. He's awesome for sure. Just so you know, Harrison Smith has the superstar. Poyer's just a star if you care about that. But I heard you single out Poyer for a reason.
So would those guys last here, or do you think this is the time to take them if we're taking one of them?
Right now, maybe next round, I think no later than the 10th, but given your pick on how it's an early 9th, maybe that late 10th, they might not be there. Maybe they would be, Go
to the edge rushers then.
Edge rushers? Okay, I will let you know, and I'll pay attention to see if it comes up. Outside linebacker, edge rusher. At right outside linebacker, Tyus Bowser. would be probably a rusher. You know, Thompson is not necessarily probably the edge rusher, right?
Right. Yeah.
But there is Melvin Ingram over at left outside linebacker. It'll pop up eventually. He's 84 overall. Randy Gregory 82, and then Leonard Floyd 80 overall.
How about middle linebackers?
And then it'll pop up hopefully eventually. There's also Jadeveon Clowney. He could probably be moved to left outside linebacker from left end. He is a 83 overall. See, it eventually catches up.
Yep.
Trey Hendrickson's out there, 85 overall, right end. So you can move him to right outside linebacker. You know, I guess. If you want to name another position, I could look for you.
Go to the middle linebackers.
I will for sure. But I will verbally let you know while I figure out the lag. CJ Mosley, 82. Denzel Perriman, Dante Hightower, Jawan Bentley round out the 82, 81, 80 overall. You know, CJ Mosley probably a better coverage guy than Denzel Perriman, if I'm not mistaken. So if you're talking about like kind of fit in the scheme, maybe that's who would fit the scheme for you. I could be wrong though. You know, you're obviously the IDP guy. Is there any other position here that you were thinking about? Oh, dude. Man, I think it did the glitch again, but we'll ignore it here. What are we thinking? I know you can't see. Hopefully you can soon. Shout out to technical issues. But we are showing Roquan Smith, Denzel Ward up again. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to
give me Roquan Smith.
Right. But I think this is that similar thing that's going on to before on how these guys shouldn't be here. But for the meantime,
not, then we can make another pick. That's all right.
I know. Hold on, but I got some more questions because I'm always prepared for these moments. But if we're being honest here, I think that this thing is chalked. But we could focus on these questions here, okay? I got a good one here.
Problem.
Actually, this is one of my favorite ones I like to ask. Okay, Kraig Rueth, RotoHeat Fantasy. What is your death row meal? If you run death row, what would your death row meal be?
It's a great question. I would want some sort of pizza.
Ooh, what kind of style?
Just a couple slices.
What style?
Probably New York style.
Okay, Sicilian.
Probably margarita is what I'd go with.
What those toppings like?
It's extremely simple. It's the well, a lot of times it's just like an olive oil base with mozzarella and then sliced tomatoes and basil.
Yeah, that's probably like perfect that you would want there. Love that. And then a margarita. What kind? Just to finish you off here.
Well, no, it's margarita pizza is what it's called.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. My fault. I thought you meant a margarita. I was like, all right, that's cool.
So I'd want like a slice or two of that. I'd want some of my mom's potato pancakes.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Okay, potato pancakes. That's it. Just potato pancakes and a couple slices of New York style margarita pizza.
If I'm having a drink, I might as well have some alcohol. Summer Shandy, my favorite beer, from Wisconsin, and then probably some sort of Culver's concrete mixer.
Oh my god, dude, I love Culver's, man. And you talk about Wisconsin, Spotted Cow. I like that one.
I've never been a huge fan of Spotted Cow, but
I don't like that one. That one's bad.
I had a poor experience with it before I should have.
Okay,
but I think that probably jaded my opinion of it.
Here's a question from Dave. If it's pulled up, hopefully it will. And luckily this draft seems to be doing well. If there's technical issues, because we're looking at Poyer Smith, we're chilling. Latkes, Latkes.
I have not. I know it's similar to like a potato pancake, but I'm not aware if I've ever actually had them.
Well, we need to talk about Culver's though. Concrete mixer. What are you mixing in that?
So I really like their flavor of the days. I mean, they have so many different ones, and for the most part, they're pretty good. One of my favorites just to get that's pretty simple is their Devil's Food Cake, which is chocolate with like chocolate little cake pieces, and then you mix
Right.
in the cherry pie filling, so it's like chocolate and
Nice.
cherry.
Nice.
Really like that. Salted caramel, like pecan chocolate. I love pecans and
Seems
stuff.
like a grown-up
turtle
flavor for sure.
stuff.
Okay. So I think this is getting pulled up. What were you talking about drafting here? Luckily, this draft is not chalked. It's not pulling up for you, but again, it's kind of the safeties, the edge rusher, maybe Melvin Ingram, Trey Hendrickson to move over. Jadeveon Clowney is still there as well that you could move as well.
Just to keep moving, we'll take Harrison.
I like this, man. I like this a lot. I'm sorry that you're dealing with the...
No problem. Get our 2 safeties out of the way.
Are you time crunched?
No, I'm good.
Okay. But we could get this moving for sure. Jonah Williams just went. He's kind of been all right for the Bengals. Sucks he's kind of got a couple injuries. Jordan Poyer's still here. You do need the cornerback. He's someone that could go to cornerback, hypothetically speaking. You do have one offensive line positional need, but you also need quarterbacks, and maybe a receiver or two, of course. Tight end's not the biggest, but we got some Zach Ertz, Dalton Schultz going on. Middle linebacker. Excuse me. Wow, Mosley's still here. I guess that's pretty cool. And you still need those 2 kind of outside guys as well.
We'll go with Mosley. We'll make sure we get a decent linebacker.
You're kind of locking that down for sure. You're I still don't know how to say it. But you're saying Mosley. Let's snag that one. We'll snag Mosley. Jeez, dude, every time here. We'll get Mosley for you. So it looks like that has shredded potato, onion, salt, garlic powder, little pancake. So pancake is just fried dough, right? Or fried like
potato pancakes are like shredded potatoes with
so just a hash brown pancake.
The latkes are something similar, but it has more spice and flavoring and that sort of stuff Dave mentioned compared to a normal potato pancake.
Okay. Well, I did draft CJ Mosley for you. It looks like my web browser is being unresponsive. Shout out to that. But I'm looking at these picks off this stream, not pulled up for you. Poyer is still here. So is Calais Campbell. He's someone that you could move the defensive tackle. Oh, you're not looking at it. You're still stuck on shredded potato pancake. Okay. Are we looking at it?
We had the screen up there with what's his name?
Dude,
Campbell.
I just need to go ahead and buy this new thing. But I'll just let you know, Poyer, Campbell are here. If you want wide receiver wise, Odell is still here. Robert Woods, Allen Robinson, a couple other cornerbacks are hanging around there too. Similar overalls.
What do the centers look like?
What are the centers look like? That is a good thing. Centers, 85 overall, David Andrews, 83, JC Tretter.
Give me Andrews.
Okay, that's probably a good pick because he definitely will go around here.
We're going to finish that offensive line.
Yeah, for the record here, I'm trying a new web browser, so hopefully that'll work. Okay. What? Going in here to your next pick, then. This has to be so weird to not see the thing, but I will let you know. What do you want to focus on here?
Wide receiver.
Okay, wide receiver. This count exists. Log it in. Okay. Wide receiver, Odell Beckham is still there. Just for the record, Poyer, Campbell are still there. But I know you mentioned it. I know you can't see, but we are looking at 85 overall Odell Beckham, 84 overall Robert Woods, and then 83 overall Julio, 82 Allen, and then like a Tyler Boyd comes up, but we're like whatever,
Give me Odell. We'll get a nice receiver.
Okay, so this has been great. Odell, that is definitely a good pick here because, like I said, Julio will fall a little bit. What is your preferred internet web browser?
I usually use Chrome.
Okay, that's what I was using, and it was like very
I know everyone
laggy.
has their own favorites for all these different reasons and that.
Oh, that's
So-
right here. You're absolutely right. I'm trying to figure this out. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we got Odell for you, and just got the whatever pick that was before. Sorry, my brain is focusing on so much, but I think we're gonna be running smoothly here, man. If we're being honest, shout out to this Edge. Have you ever heard of Edge?
I have heard of Edge on.
Is it good?
It's whatever Internet Explorer used to be. It's a new one.
Really? Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Well, it seems to be running smoothly. This browser can't access your screen. Oh, well, that's definitely not good. Well, I would like to see my browser access this screen. Whoever's watching this, you're in for a ride, and it looks like something is pulling up here. And here we are. We're in the 12th round. Poyer and Campbell are still here.
So you think Campbell can be a DT?
Yes, absolutely. And he also has the Superstar X thing, and he could absolutely be a defensive tackle.
Then let's take him.
Oh my God, dude. I think we got it. Let's go. I'm so happy. But if we definitely want to knock home some picks, because we might be here for 5 hours.
We'll
It's
get
my
this
fault,
knocked
of course.
out. Nah, don't worry about it. It's all good.
Maybe need an update. That's actually a good thing, man. Thank you, Dave. I will check that out. Dude, Poyer's still here. That's 90 overall. I mean, Melvin Ingram, he doesn't fit left outside linebacker per se, but I'm sure he does. Yeah, power rusher, speed rusher might as well be the same thing.
Where are we at quarterbacks?
Oh yeah, let's see. Kirk Cousins, Matt Ryan, Jimmy G, Gino. Oh, Laquez. Do you just want to solidify it, just nail it down, just to have a guy, or are you willing to risk it?
Scroll down so who's further down there.
I mean, we're going into 70, 69 overall. It's like you definitely don't want that. But maybe quarterback's a position you want to trade for.
We're gonna take Kirk.
Yeah,
he's
just
not
be safe.
sexy, but I want a quarterback that's
I like that.
competent.
So shout out to Sam Wagman. He was the first Super Bowl winner in Madden 23. He also got Kirk around now too. So you're looking pretty solid here, man. Looking pretty solid. So you do have one receiver. You got your 5 offensive linemen. Your secondary, defensive secondary, you need 2 more people, maybe another edge rusher or 2. So Devin McCourty, he's 87 overall. He's another one of those superstars. And he could be a cornerback. And here's your current cornerbacks at 81 overall.
So you said you can some of those safeties can convert and be fine.
Oh, absolutely. Like Devin McCourty for sure can. He's a superstar. Like, look at his man in zone, 87 and 82. Like, that's
Take
pretty.
him.
You know what I mean?
Make him a cornerback.
Yeah, dude. And that superstar ability, love that. You need your 2 outside linebackers, or, in a 4-3 scheme, just technically outside linebackers, I guess. Not like necessarily edge rushers. You need another wide receiver, maybe a tight end. You're sitting pretty for sure. Like, look, Tommy Tremble's going right now. That's kind of wild, especially with, these guys available. I mean, Robert Woods is here. Other cornerbacks, like, what are we thinking? Jerome Baker, you can make him an outside linebacker. Here's some outside guys. Floyd, Golden, Houston are your edge rushers looking at. And then, of course, at right outside linebacker, I mean, Pete Warner's pretty solid. Holcomb's nice, but he's a coverage guy if you want like someone like Warner's role with the Saints.
Give me Leonard Floyd.
Love that, dude. Bear down, moving on over the Rams. Is he still with the Rams?
Yep, he's with the Rams.
It's pretty solid, man. I know former first overall pick didn't really work out, but he's found his footing, huh?
He found a home there with the Rams,
That's cool. Okay. I like this, man. Shout out to the Edge, dude. Did you watch wrestling when you were younger?
I didn't get into any sort of wrestling until it was
Shout out to Edge.
probably whatever on like a UPN when SmackDown started, because we never had cable.
Okay. Let's see. So here's BPA. You have your one cornerback. You probably are
need
looking for a
another one, though.
second. Charvarius Ward, he's got good speed, which is always cool. Like, you don't want to have a guy with not too good of speed in a Madden simulation. Yeah, safety's looking pretty grim besides, these guys, but it's like, might as well pick a corner here at 81 if that's your move.
Yeah, whichever one of those corners you think is best.
Looking at the speed and height, like Ward or Akella Witherspoon here would work. It just depends if you have like a favorite. Probably Ward, especially if he has 90 press popping out there.
Yeah, we'll go Ward.
Yeah, with 91 speed, pretty solid. I like that. Shout out to Charvarius Ward. So you got your 2 corners, 2 safeties, middle linebacker, kind of 1 outside linebacker, your defensive line. If it is a 4-3, you'll probably will need a second defensive tackle, interior guy. Receivers, you only have 1. You're looking for some tight ends and maybe a running back here, maybe coming up here. And then a couple other picks. We'll get to head to simulating here. I could edit the team around for you. I got more questions for you, and then we could hop into the season. But here we are.
Let's go to. Yep, that works. We'll take him. Give me Julio.
He's best player overall. You're sacrificing a little bit of speed, like Will Fuller, but you can't teach this overall. He's definitely a solid playmaker, despite any real life injuries are off. He's definitely a guy you want here in your Madden simulation. Love that. Okay, rapid fire. Let's go. What do you need?
Defensive tackle.
Defensive tackle.
I want to go look at.
Okay, we could check the ends too. Oh, Linval Jofis, Tyson Alualau, and Brandon Williams lead that. Left end, yeah, Denico Autry's pretty solid. Oh, Sue might be a good transition to defensive tackle, but there's also Linval Joseph, and Tyson Alualau right now as well. So probably those 3 guys in terms of value, but if you prefer someone just because that's your guy, let me know.
Give me Sue and we'll make him a DT.
Love that. Okay, so you do need that third outside or the third linebacker, another outside guy. Looking pretty solid though elsewhere besides tight ends and then running back, of course.
Is running back something you think I can wait on until the end?
Yeah, at least maybe in like a round or 2.
Okay.
But if you want to grab a guy like Patterson, Harris, you will go down a little bit, but there'll be a guy, and maybe that's a guy if you do want to trade for hypothetically. You're sitting pretty for sure at receiver, tight end. You're getting thin, but it's been fine. Like, I don't know if you just want to get a guy to ensure you have a guy, but tight end, it's been fine. Just so you know.
All right. Well, yeah. What do we got for edge type of guys here?
So you're looking at a run stopper, but I'm sure Tyus Bowser will be fine at right outside linebacker. Unless you want to move like Quincy Williams or, Rashaan Evans over, TJ Edwards over, Joey. You could move some of these guys over to right outside linebacker.
So,
Devin Lloyd.
The IDP guy in me wants to like take someone like Quincy Williams, but I don't know if it actually makes sense in the game.
No, yeah. But I think maybe like one of these nice middle linebackers move over to that outside linebacker thing might behoove you.
Mm-hmm.
Especially just given the overall. Like, they won't change. They may get better.
We're going to do something weird.
Let's do it. This whole podcast has been weird so far.
We're going to keep going with names and just see how it goes. Give me JPP because I think I saw him on there.
Let's go. That's less work for me to change an outside linebacker too. Love that. You can't teach his veteran presence. Let's see. So maybe, running back and tight end, it mostly is all you need. And then maybe we could just go ahead and kick it to the simulation here so we're not wasting too much time for the...
Yep. As long as we've got pretty much our starters filled out, we can get those 2 and change some positions and be on our way.
Lovely. And I also, hopefully I could think of more questions because I burned a couple already with you. But okay. What are you saying? Sorry, I'm trying not to have my ADHD come into contact. Okay. Running back. Patterson, Connor, Harris. Patterson's a superstar for the record, but since he's a receiving back, he doesn't have the great truck, like things like that may make a complete running back. While maybe
at the same time with our offensive line, I don't know if he would have to necessarily have a whole lot of that.
Connor is there too. You could go back to back and put Patterson at a receiving role and then put Connor at the power back role. Madden allows you that, so
Give me Patterson. We'll start with him.
yeah, dude, for sure. Love that. Yeah, I love weird, and you can't teach veteran presence. That VP JPP with the VP is insane. Welcome to the show. Okay. What are we thinking here? You kind of got all the offensive starters besides tight end. James Conner, Damian Harris are hanging around. But also here's the look at tight end. So you're still looking at the same guys, Taysom Hill. I have no idea. That just sounds fun, you know.
Go get James Conner so we have another different kind of.
So we could put him
back.
We could put third down running back Patterson and then power running back Conner to handle those short carries / goal line.
We'll do that and then
grab
a tight end and we'll be good.
Love that, dude. Thank you for working through this fun little internet issues and technology issues. Okay. What did you say?
Tight end.
Thank you. Wow, Taysom Hill's there, man. Hurst, Max Williams. He's a good blocker, probably too.
Oh boy, who do you have as far as a preference out of like a Cook, Hurst, and Hill?
I mean, Hill just sounds fun because he has speed. He's dominating the speed, and speed matters a lot. His catching is probably fine. Like Hurst might be the better catcher with a little bit less speed, but I mean, speed's fun, man.
You know what? We're gonna go nuts. Give us Taysom Hill.
Let's go. Okay, cool. I'll go ahead, simulate this. I'll edit around for a little bit, and hopefully nothing crazy happens. But for the time being, I will have some more questions for you here, and we'll go ahead and jump that in. Okay, Kraig, would you rather go to jail for a year or go to jail with the Rubik's Cube, and when you solve it, you can get out?
So here's the thing. I knew you've seen those like speed cubers, like videos online and stuff. And they were not that they were ever at that level, but I have two friends that I've been, friends with since like first grade and fourth grade that do that stuff that, you can give them a Rubik's Cube and they can get it in, 5-10 seconds, whatever it is from wherever it's at. It's amazing to watch. And I've had them teach me years ago.
So
how to I used to know. That's the thing. I used to know. I don't anymore. And I don't know, it's all about patterns and this and that and whatever. I would probably just take the year because I know it's a set amount of time where you could be sitting in there, just doing it with the Rubik's Cube all the time. But you could have someone steal your Rubik's Cube and hide it or break it or move the stickers on you or something. And just give me I know it's a year, and then be done with it.
Yeah, I like that. It's always been a fun one to ask. Okay. If you could have dinner with one person and have a conversation with, who would that be?
So I have two potential answers because I remember asking this one before and flip a coin.
Let's flip it.
One, O.J. Simpson, just because there's just so many football and unrelated to football questions.
Did you do it?
I'd love to ask him. I was obsessed with that O.J. Simpson trial when I was a kid. I've read all the books on it. I've written papers on it in like school and stuff. Like it just ridiculous and amazing in so many different ways. And the other one, he's dead now, but I would want to sit down and have like a heart-to-heart. His name is Roger Patterson. He's the guy that organized the trip where they shot that video of the alleged Sasquatch in California back in 65 or whatever it is. Just to see like, hey, like,
wasn't he the known con artist?
He wasn't necessarily a known con artist, but he was one of those guys that, he said, borrow me some money and, I'll pay you back. And, he had every intention of it. No one said he was a bad dude. He was out to, trick people or anything like that. But, he wasn't good with money and, he was always trying to find a way to make a quick buck and stuff too. So, yeah, but a conversation about him, like, all right, because if one of them set it up between the two of them, it would have been him. And I'd want to know the truth on that.
I'm so disappointed, man. So I have some very bad news.
Oh boy.
There's been a bug going around in the Madden community. People have been furious because it messes up with a lot of things. Is this pulling up? Well, whenever that pulls up, you're gonna see the sad things put here. But I have some more questions for you. If you could pick one ambassador to meet the aliens, who would it be?
That's a very good question. Do they have to be living now?
Can we do one of both? So living,
Sure. Living, give me William Shatner.
William Shatner, or dead,
Fred Rogers.
Fred. I don't know who that is.
Mr. Rogers.
Oh, really? Okay. But as you can see here, Kraig, we're back at the 8th round pick.
That's all right.
So unfortunately, I think that's going to be chalked. But I got a couple here questions that we could finish up here and just wrap up this complete colossal of a show, and then then we can have you back on, later on to complete this mission. So I am sorry for that, but
That's right.
we got a couple more questions here, so we might as well run it down here for this good vibes here. If you could hack into any one computer, whose computer would you choose?
Oh boy, probably any one person. Someone with a ridiculous amount of money that doesn't need it. Jeff Bezos. Send a bunch of money out or something like that.
Right. So Jeff Bezos, and then you could maybe get some fun information off him as well.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. If you could know the absolute truth to one question, what question would you ask?
Oh boy. Anyway, I guess is there life after death, so to speak? What happens when you die? Is there anything?
That would be a crazy question to know, man. Because like if you're told no, it's like, well, shit. But if you're told yes, it's like, all right, cool. Especially with the player normal activity, I would become a ghost to come back on your show.
Yeah.
I would haunt someone that you know to have on the show so they could tell a story about the ghost of Corey. Shout out to RotoHeat Fantasy. All right, so to a last question here to end to this absolute chaos of a Madden draft show. What would be your weapon of choice in a zombie apocalypse?
Weapon, so something like handheld, preferably, or something like that. Like his weapon. I mean, you could say, a tank or something. But it kind of seems like it's cheating.
But then maybe you run out of tank shells. It breaks down. You have to figure out how to do mechanical issues. You could use a gun, but then you run out of bullets. A sword. What if it breaks?
Yeah, I mean, I guess something like from The Walking Dead, like Negan had, like a nice solid wooden baseball bat. I guess you could do metal that
would break
easily.
Right.
Like a metal bat, that's reinforced with something or another, like stuff around it to help. So just something, an old sturdy standby, something like that.
An old sturdy standby. Okay, Kraig. Well, first off, hey, sorry for the craziness that has happened on the show. At least we did get somewhat of a team and get a philosophy of the team that you will eventually, hopefully, draft. But if you want to let the world here know what's going on with your life, anything to look out for, or whatever you want to tell everybody.
Yeah, so I'm pretty much over just at RotoHeat Fantasy. I do the IDP waiver wire article, and I jump on the video that we post too. Got rankings over there at rotoheat.com. During the off season, we have an IDP show that'll be coming back, of course, next year when the season's over. And I'm sort of the opposite, or the same, where I'm not doing player normal activity during the season because people are so busy and this and that. But sort of season 2, if you will be coming back next off. Season 2, I've already got some people lined up that we were going to do when the season started, but stuff got so busy. I just figured, well, we'll have this be an off-season thing. So season 2 of Player Normal Activity will be starting up next year too, and excited to have different people on and talk fantasy football and just learn about some other just weird experiences with people. And I want to thank you too for being on that one.
Shout out to T. Higgins. He hasn't worked out. I lied. Oh, thank you, Kraig. Shout out to RotoHeat Fantasy. Find him on Twitter, YouTube, and then of course Kraig, RotoHeat Kraig himself. Thank you for this colossal of a show. Maybe next week I'll have to figure out what's going on. I believe it is Kevin coming over there from Football Guys and the Devrel coming on. So check in next week for a Madden show or not. But thank you everyone for the time, regardless of it. And thank you, Kraig, as well for yours.
Thank you.